standard of living that you can be pretty proud of. Okay. So, you must commit to your daily activity requirements publicly. Tell your wife, tell everybody, tell your children, tell your parents, tell your grandparents, tell your workmates. I know people who put their commitments up on the window screen of the car. So that everyone gets in the car and sees, this is what I'm going to do. Look, I'm driving a Honda Civic at the moment, but this is my car. I even bought the steering wheel, the BMW steering wheel, to remind me. Write a plan. What do I want to achieve this year? What do I want to be in 1 to 5 years? What about 5 to 10 years and 10 years plus? Then never stop. Be smart. You got to write your goals using SMART objectives. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. Best example for me is young couple have a nursery, but it's full of storage. No baby yet. And it's there for a year, it's there for 2 years. Suddenly, lady comes home and says, I got good news. You're going to be a daddy. Suddenly, the job becomes clear the room, decorate and refurnish within 9 months. It's time-bound. That is now a very specific goal. Guess what? Does it get done? Once there's a time and a date and an urgency, things get done. So get timed and specific and put urgency into the things that you should do to have your success. A little quick something for managers. I'm going to fly through this. So the quick something for managers is, if you have a 20-person team with 30% activity rate that produces 3.33 cases per active producer, average earnings per case of 750, then what would that mean? You have production of 14,985. Now let's call that earnings, yeah? So it looks like that. 20 times 3.33, 750. So 20 manpower, 30% of my 20 are active. Only for those that are active, they only produce 3.33 cases, and average earnings per case 750. Now, I want you, when you go away from here, to play with this maths, if you are a manager. So you want to increase your team to 20,000. How do we do it? Okay. One option, increase manpower to 26. Leave the rest the same. You'll get 20,229 production. Okay, what else could we change? Well, we can change activity rate. Turn a few more people productive in the team. What would I have to do to make more people productive is the question I'd be asking. Then productivity. What can I do to increase productivity? Well, this one, first of all, gives nearly 20,000. Change the productivity, 20,700. And then the last one, of course, I can always change the market that I'm in and the average earnings per case or sale. And that would be the same at 19,980. So that I consider a little gift for managers. If you use that as an engine to work through your team and then say, what would I have to do under each one of these headings in order to change the performance of my team? That takes the stress out of managing a team, folks, and managing your business. Rounding off with a 3-step process to help you find your way. I discovered this on the internet, and I've used it because I believe it's one of the simplest approaches to a subject that is written very heavily about, but very light on, give me a couple of steps to help me solve my problem in relation to stress and activities. Stress, first of all, tends to come as a result of negative thinking. And stress from negative thoughts go from my fear of my future. It might be I put myself down or criticize for any errors I make, not doing things on time. They're negative thoughts. You're not necessarily telling anybody else, but you're feeling it in yourself. Doubting your abilities or you expect failure. Negative thinking damages confidence, harms performance, and paralyzes mental skills. So, I'm going to say start a stress diary and do it for 2 weeks. Yeah? Make sure it's a big stress diary. And every time you have any feelings or thoughts or views that are negative, write them in the diary. Don't judge them. Don't do anything with them then. You just have a thought thinking, oh, I'm going to have to do that meeting next week. Oh, I hate to have this presentation. Or I have 4 meetings that day. I hate the traffic. Yeah, all these kind of things. It's a negative stress point. Write it down. And at the end of the 2 weeks, go through these points and say, how many of these did I experience? Believe you me, you will. All of you will have experienced some or more of these. And they just come out of stress points or anxieties. So, step 2 is to look at some rational thinking. Sorry, just go back. So, sorry, the point I want to mention here is thought awareness. By examining your diary, you're now creating an awareness in yourself about the frequency of your negativity and the scope and the range of your negativity. Okay? And that will be interpreted from your own diary by you. So moving on. Move into a period of rational thinking. So take all of those things, deal with negative thinking by challenging the negative thoughts that you've identified in your diary. Just real challenge. Why should you have had that thought? Look at every thought you wrote down and rationally challenge it. Ask yourself whether the thought is reasonable or irrational. So that's why it is that thought awareness. We're unconsciously negative more than we think. So now, rational thinking applying to that will help us to try and eradicate some of these stress points. And does the point stand up to fair criticism? Let's take one of the points from earlier, feelings of inadequacy, applying rational thinking. Have you trained and educated yourself as well as you reasonably should do to do the job? Mr. Chairman, again the point about CPD, yeah? And about educating ourselves, having views and opinions, being able to gather the intelligence about key decisions in the marketplace. Do you have the experience and the resources needed to do it? If not, go get them. And by the way, have you planned, prepared, and rehearsed appropriately? So challenge the irrational thought, yeah, the negativities, through rational thinking. Positive affirmation is step 3. Is then you look at what you've turned through your rational thinking into slightly more positive statements. Feelings of inadequacy, yeah, I'm well trained for this. Yeah? I have the experience, I have the tools, and I have the resources I need. I can go to that client and I can win them over despite the position in the marketplace. I have thought through and prepared for all possible issues. There's nothing that can come along to surprise me. I can do a superb job. So, stress to success. Thought awareness helps you recognize what your state of mind was in that 2 weeks. Negative thoughts come into your mind, go in there, destroy a few cells, and disappear. They leave the bad cells behind. So if we got it in our diary that we had an invasion of negative thoughts, write it down. Rational thinking then helps you to identify how incorrect that negative thinking is, or that negative thought was. Then prepare positive thoughts and positive affirmations. Now, many cultures would call that a mantra, yeah? That you would recite to yourself to say, I am a great person, I can do good business. I can be better than I am. Tomorrow, I will be better than I am today. I will be more detailed in my studies today than I was yesterday. So positive affirmations to counter them. Look at the situation and see if there's any useful opportunities being offered by the process you've just been through. Okay. So we've looked at stress to success. Base your affirmations on the clear, rational assessment of facts using rational thinking. Affirmations help you build self-confidence. And finally, for me, using affirmations to undo the damage that negative thinking has done to your brain. Self-confidence is brain.